everyone, and welcome to episode number 58 of the NordCast. It is Monday, June 17th, 2024. I can't remember the last time we made a podcast on a freaking Monday. It might be the first time ever. But yeah, happy Monday. I'm your host here, Nordic joined with Carter, whose life's on the line tonight for the Dallas Mavericks versus Boston Celtics game. Carter, how are we doing tonight?
The stress is at an all-time high. Um, it's a 3-1 series, but as Luka Doncic said, it's first to four, so I'm confident. I got confidence, but I would have liked to have won both at home, because then we have to take two we got to take two in Boston. That's scary. But
Incredibly hard.
if we win tonight, I think this goes to 7, and Luka Doncic in elimination games will not go down without a fight. So I am excited. I am looking forward to it. Let's go Mavs.
All right. I hope the Mavs can maybe pull it off. Funny thing is, I was working today and I saw a Celtics fan walk in wearing a Celtics jersey. I'm like, they better win tonight. He's like, yeah, I'm really worried. I hope they better win this. They better win tonight in Boston, or else I don't know. I think the Mavs might come back. It's never happened before in the NBA, so it's a pretty rare occurrence. But maybe the Mavs will be the first team. We'll see. So, addition to that, the Oilers are looking to be one of the first teams in a while to come back from down 3-0 as the Stanley Cup Finals are going on. Apologies for us not making a whole lot of episodes during the Cup Finals. I did my Cup Finals preview just by myself, but the guys have been busy. Carter started a new job. Jack's got stuff with college going on, so kind of busy at this time of the year. But regardless, we got a time here to talk about it. Hopefully, or actually, no, not hopefully. Thankfully, the Oilers won Game 4, so at least we can talk about it a little bit. But I think the next time that we have a podcast, there will be a Stanley Cup winner, and it could be as early as tomorrow when this podcast drops. So the Oilers are currently up the Panthers are currently up 3-1 in this series. You can tell that I'm very rusty. The Panthers took the first three, two at home, one in Edmonton, and the Oilers dominated Game 4. It seemed like won that one 8-1. So I'll start with my thoughts. This series could go either way. This series could have gone either way for the first couple of games. The Oilers played well, I would say, in pretty much every single game of these finals. But what seemed very clear to us in these three games was the goaltending. Like Stuart Skinner, and he's had points in these playoffs and in these finals where he's looked good. I'm not denying that. There have been points in these playoffs where he's looked amazing. But in these finals particularly, he's had points where, honestly, it makes you question if he should really be the starting goalie in Edmonton. Like when in game, I think it was game 3. Yeah, I think it was game 3 in Edmonton. Like the Oilers played really well. They would have stretches where it was like 8 or 9 minutes in a row of them pressuring Bobrovsky, and they just couldn't beat him. And then it go down the other way, pucks in the net, and the Oilers would be down. So having that and having so much pressure on the other end of the zone, and then it going down the other way like once in the last like 6 or 7 minutes, and having it be a goal is hard to come back from. Especially too when you have literally one of the best goalies I've ever seen in net, in Sergei Bobrovsky, who by the way is going to be a Hall of Famer if he wins this Stanley Cup and probably wins this Conn Smythe Trophy too. He will be without a doubt a Hall of Famer. It's hard for the Oilers to come back from that. But I think the Panthers have played very well in these games. I think that, the Oilers, it could be very well be like a 2-2 series or even like a 3-1 Oilers series right now. It could be in that favor, but just the way it's gone with goaltending, it's been really a goalie battle in these playoffs. And it just shows that shots really don't matter. So, Carter, I'll go to you. What are your thoughts on this Stanley Cup Finals so far? And who's at fault for the Oilers being down in this series?
I feel like this has probably been like a very entertaining kind of playoffs. I think, regardless of how the scoreboard has looked, there's been some chippiness in this, which is what you're going to get in a Stanley Cup final, obviously. But I think Edmonton's just a little bit outmatched here. This is Stewart, you talked about it. Stuart Skinner has not looked good. He's made some questionable decisions kind of between the pipes and when he's making saves and all that. Um, so there hasn't really he hasn't been the goaltender that you need in order to win a Stanley Cup final. You can't have those costly mistakes that I'm pretty sure we saw in Game 3 where he left the net and the net's wide open and he's trying to get back and he can't. You
And
can't
that's
make...
and I'll say this. I'll say this. Sorry for interrupting you.
There
I'll
you go.
say this. Darnell Nurse didn't do that great of a job at defending that either. Darnell Nurse
No.
has been terrible in these playoffs. I would like to mention that. So not all of it's on Skinner, but Nurse definitely has to take some of the
Oh, for
blame.
sure. I was gonna get to Nurse after,
Oh, sorry.
because no, you're
Sorry.
good because he made a costly mistake in Game 1 where it's almost the exact same play, but just in the Game 1 Skinner was in net and Nurse wasn't doing shit, but in this one it was Skinner's not in the net and Skinner's also not doing shit.
Yeah.
Um, so to be honest, like a lot of the blame's got to go on this Edmonton back end. Like Game 1, you look at it, that's just a great game from Sergei Bobrovsky. You put a lot of shots and you're expecting at least one to go through. And then you look at the goaltending. Florida did barely shot the puck and scored 3. One obviously being the empty netter, but still getting 2 passed on that many shots is not it's not what you want to see. Game 2 was not much better. They finally beat Sergei Bobrovsky, which is good, which is a good look.
Evan Bouchard
But
fumbled though
yeah,
with that
but
one
then
turnover.
but then the shots flip flopped. Edmonton's not dominating the shot category anymore, which is what you need in order to beat Sergei Bobrovsky. You have to win in the shot category. You have to shoot anything you can because all it takes is one rebound in hockey. The amount of bad goals that you can get from shooting at any angle, it does not matter. You got to put the puck on Sergei Bobrovsky. If he covers it, that's a face-off in the offensive zone to try and get possession and get a better shot. But if a puck bounces out in the slot, like we've seen it with Florida, they've capitalized on chances in the slot. You get a chance on Bobrovsky in the slot, you gotta score. And one thing I would like to go back to real quick, I think it was Edmonton. They had what 2 or 3 breakaways in Game 1. You
Yeah,
have
I
you
think so.
have to capitalize on those. You have to get 1 or 2 breakaway goals if you're given that opportunity. You got to capitalize on those because they're not going to come easy with Florida. So when you get them, you bet your ass you better score them. Because that's a momentum shifter too. Because blame the back end, blame the forwards. You can't really blame the goalie, but you blame the back end, you blame the forwards, and now there's a momentum shift, right? So that's one thing that in Game 1 and Game 2 kind of thing. Game 3 was just did not look like Edmonton's kind of realm. Skinner looked like he played a little bit better, but it's Florida and they got outmatched. But Game 4, I think that's a huge win. A blowout in Game 4. You can relate this to me being a Mavs fan all you want, but a blowout in Game 4 when you're down 3-0 can be the biggest momentum shift you can have. Because now it starts to question, like, okay, are we taking them too lightly? And now you're trying to get your energy back up, but like maybe you don't have it anymore, right? I'm probably talking out of my ass here, but it's true. All it takes is one game for a huge momentum shift. And Edmonton got that. They looked like they figured out Sergei Bobrovsky. They had a lot of great 2-on-1 chances, a lot of good shots, great passing. They looked like this Edmonton Oilers team that could go all the way, and Skinner played better too. The shots weren't super won by Edmonton. I think the shots were like maybe a 5 differential, but it was a very close shooting game, which even when close, that's good. So I really think that this series can keep going. But it's all going to determine what Edmonton can do with this momentum. If they sit flat-footed, they're going to get their ass handed to them next game. And if Florida comes out with a vengeance, I don't think I'll see McDavid walking for the next month because they will go after anyone
Mm-hmm.
that moves.
Yeah, Game 1 was very close. Florida obviously took that. Game 2 was Evan Bouchard just turning it over to Evan Rodriguez. Ironically, the Evans are connecting there, having an Evan Rodriguez had a legacy game in game 2. Game 3, again, as I said, like Edmonton would just play good for long stretches and then let it up, let in a goal, and at that rare point where they would play would go down the other way. Game 4, definitely. If we look back on this, let's say like a few days from now, that could be looked at as the huge turning point. The Oilers played very well. They scored 8 goals, obviously, and that crowd in Edmonton was electric. Like you could barely hear like the ESPN guys there talking. Like it was that loud there. It was very, very loud. So, Carter, as you said something about the Mavs. If the Mavs win game 5, you said that this series could potentially go 7. Do
It's
you think that's the same case for the Oilers?
so this was one thing I kind of realized after the Oilers um, blew out Florida. So if you look at the games between the NBA and the NHL, Game 1 was a domination by the home team. Game 2 was closer, but the home team still managed to win. Game 3 was an upset in the home team's barn, so won by the visitors. So both were up 3-0. Game 4s were blowouts by the home team to make it a 3-1. This is some. I know it's not completely like spot on because like obviously the scores between NBA and NHL are completely different, but kind of looking at it like that, like the NHL and NBA script writers, I think might have just copy and pasted the same fucking script. Like,
are you saying that this is some next level conspiracy here from the
I'm
NHL and NBA?
I am calling out the NHL and NBA for sharing each other's homework in the playoffs. So if the Mavs win, I am taking Edmonton to win Game 5. If they lose, I am taking Florida to win Game 5. It is all going to come down to my bets for like the rest of like playoffs is just going to be what happens in the Mavs series. Because if it ends up going to 7, I'm betting Edmonton the whole way. Because like, it makes no sense to me right now. I kind of clocked that like, I don't know. You can call me a weird conspiracy theorist all you want, but I kind of found it a little funny.
I think Carter might be on to something here with what he was saying. I think that if if Edmonton wins Game 5, we're probably seeing a Game 7 in Florida. Again, we haven't seen a team come back down from 3-0 in a very long time. Last time was 2014. But if you want to look at the Stanley Cup Finals, it was like 1942 when, ironically enough, the Maple Leafs did it. So it's a very rare feat to accomplish, especially in the Stanley Cup Finals. We will see if the Oilers can do it. I think they can. I think it's very possible that they will be able to at least force a game 6 or 7. But winning at home in Florida in these playoffs has proven to be very, very hard. I think it's happened only twice in these playoffs. So it's pretty difficult to do that. We'll see if Edmonton can. But regardless, Carter, by the time we talk again, the finals will probably be over. It's going to be either Florida or the Oilers as our Stanley Cup champion. Carter, if you had to pick a Conn Smythe winner, who would you pick overall? Doesn't have to be Edmonton or Florida.
Can I give one from each team? Can I just do that? Okay. From Edmonton,
Okay,
I think it's obvious. I'd go Connor McDavid. He broke the single postseason assists record. He's carried this Edmonton team. He's kind of put them on their back, put them on his back. Sorry, as I should say. Nice 4-point night from in Game 4. But from Florida, it's hard to say because I get Bobrovsky had a bad game, but you really can have bad games and still have a chance at the Conn Smythe, which he still can. He still put up insane numbers. So I'd want to go Sergei Bobrovsky, but part of me still wants to go with Barkov. I'd go Alexander Barkov. I think other than in Game 4, he's kept McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, all their top stars were goalless through the first 3 games. Goalless. Being able to do that through 1 game is impressive. Being able to do that through 2 games is really impressive. 3 games is fucking nuts to be able to keep all those guys goalless. So I would go with Alexander Barkov just off of the defensive and offensive side that he provides for this Florida Panthers team.
We'll see how Game 5 goes. But I'm still, I understand what you're saying, but I'm still on the board with Bobrovsky. If maybe he lets in another, has another really bad game, then I would go with Barkov, but I think I'm still going with Bobrovsky no matter what. He's been phenomenal in these playoffs. I don't think we should remove him from the Conn Smythe based off of one game. Oilers, McDavid. I think just because of the points, he's going to win it. I don't think he catches Gretzky's record of 47 points, but I mean, hey, if they score another 8 goals again, maybe. I think he can come. I think he can come within second of that list. But I don't know if he beats Gretzky at that. But I mean, hey, if it goes 7, maybe we'll see. If he has like an absolute him performance, we'll find out. But yeah, above all, I think that there's a good chance we see Florida win the Stanley Cup. I don't think the Oilers are going to come back and do this. Would it shock me? I guess. But we'll find out. So moving into news and rumors, now other good stuff here. Pascal Vincent has been fired as the head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. That literally just happened today. As I'm remembering that, I forgot to literally upload a video that I made before I started recording, so that's fun. But Vincent was the coach of the Blue Jackets. The numbers got better under him, but still, the team is not good enough. Hopefully, the guy they bring in will be younger and better to run that. The Utah Hockey Club has announced their jerseys and logos. Carter, have you seen the jerseys?
They are the Winnipeg Ice jerseys.
Yeah, that's what I kind of figured. That's what I kind of figured when I was asking you. So they look a lot like the WHL's former Winnipeg Ice, which is a team that Carter's a huge fan of. So I'm not sure Carter's a big fan of the jerseys. Well, yeah, was.
I do like the jerseys. They are a very clean look. You can't go wrong with a nice little black, white, and a little baby blue in there. You can't really go wrong with that. It's a clean looking jersey. I'm glad that kind of style of jersey is in the NHL. Now I'm just hoping that Utah has a nice logo because maybe I'll have a jersey, but we'll have to see.
A lot of people said that the Utah jerseys were very generic. Are you on board with that, or are you on the side of me where you're like, well, what did you expect that they literally don't even have a name yet?
Obviously it's going to be generic. Like the jersey logo is going to ruin the jersey. Let's be real here. A circle that says Utah Hockey Club, like that's not a fucking logo. I
think they're going to go with just Utah like that. I think they're going to go with Utah down just like the wording.
If they go with that, okay, that's all right. But if they go with the circle, that's not something you throw on a jersey. That's something you throw on a coaster and give it to your grandpa. Okay, that's not a logo. But if they go with something else, I'm okay with it. If they go with the Utah across, I can live with that.
We'll see what they do. I don't mind them. I think they're good. Oh, cracking a cold one there. We'll Sleepy. See what exactly they want to do, but I think it's still good. I don't hate it whatsoever. When we're on the topic of jersey news, you see the Ducks and the Kings are rebranding. The Ducks are going to the orange Mighty Duck, and the Kings are going back to like the Gretzky retro days. So yeah, I see you have a framed jersey on the wall of that same jersey, right?
I've heard that the logo is different though. Like it's a weirder looking logo.
Okay, so it's not like the third that they've been wearing.
It's the same logo style, but the colors are different.
Okay, that's what I figured. But definitely interesting there. I'm looking forward to that.
I prefer their regular Mighty Ducks logo, like the one that's on the orange jersey that I have.
I that's what I was thinking they would go to. But obviously now I like it. I will say this, I like it way better than what their current one was. The current one was
for sure.
Garbage. Like you would look at any jersey rankings, the Ducks would be 32 every single time. Like it literally is so bad. So hopefully these jerseys are way better. And I think too, with the team going into a new era of being pretty solid, I think they are going to be a lot better next year, in my opinion. I think that it's good to go for a rebrand there. And hey, maybe that'll change the momentum of the team. Alexander Steen. This is weird. Steen is going to be named the brand new GM of the St. Louis Blues in 2026. So 2 seasons from now, he will be named the general manager. He signed a 5-year contract starting immediately to work as a special assistant to Doug Armstrong. Armstrong will become the president of hockey operations in 2026 to 2029. The weird thing is because Armstrong's been the GM of St. Louis for almost 20 years. Don't see that too often, but yeah, Steen, we'll see how he does. He was a Lady Byng Trophy winner for a lot there. He was on the team that won the Cup in 2019, so hopefully he'll do well under the GM, but that's not for a couple of years. The San Jose Sharks have hired Ryan Warsofsky as their new brand head coach. That's something. Warsofsky was the guy that I picked to be the coach. I think it's a good hiring there. Young guy can definitely coach the young players there in San Jose. I like it a lot. And finally, Patrick Laine has requested a trade out of Columbus. It's a mutual agreement that will try and move him this summer. The goal is from everyone involved. He would like to move on. His agents talked to the Jacks about it. Both sides will work together and try and get that done. He wants a fresh start, which makes a lot of sense. He has been struggling the last couple of seasons, but it's not going to be easy to move his $8.7 million cap hit. So, Carter, as a former Winnipeg Jets fan, as a former Patrick Laine lover, what are your thoughts on this? And do you think first off, do you think the Jets could go back for Laine? And second, do you think that he could get back to his 50-goal form that he's had in previous years? I think. What are your thoughts on this?
You're really putting me on the spot. I'll start it off by saying I don't think the Jets will go out and get him. Sadly, as much I feel like every Jets fan has a soft spot for Patrick Laine. I don't think that's something that's too crazy to throw out. I know I have a soft spot for Patrick Laine. I know Jesse Pollock has a soft spot for Patrick Laine. There's a lot of guys in Winnipeg who have a soft spot for Patty Laine. I don't see him coming back to Winnipeg, unfortunately. I don't think he's what we need. As much as we could use some goal scoring, he's not the goal scorer that we need. We need a speedy goal scorer, and Patrick Laine is not speedy. He'd be great on our power play, but I don't know what we'd end up doing with our power play after, because we have Kyle Connor who goes on the right side. Patrick Laine would have to go on the left, but that's where Scheifele plays, so you'd have to find a new spot for Scheifele, which usually would be front of the net. Can't put him front of the net because you got Velarde there. I can't remember who we have in like the front slot. Probably where if we were to get Laine, this isn't Jets talk. This is Patrick Laine talk. I'm like figuring out our power play as if Patrick Laine has already been traded to us. No, he hasn't. But like, I don't think that we need him. I think there's other needs that we got to tackle that aren't getting Patrick Laine back to Winnipeg. As much as I want him to be back.
Yeah, for sure. I think. Do you think that Laine can get back to that 50-goal mark?
If he has it in him. I don't think he will, but if he here's the thing: if he wants to, he can do it. 100% he can do it.
Yeah,
but I don't know if he has that passion anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think the end of his time in Winnipeg and his time in Columbus kind of killed it for him. I think had he stayed in Winnipeg this entire time, I think he still has that passion. I think he's getting close to 50 every year. But how it ended in Winnipeg and how things were in Columbus, like I think he's lost his passion. But I hope that's not true. I'd really love to see Laine get 50. I love Patty Laine. Sadly, I feel like he's lost the passion.
We'll see what happens there with Laine. I'm hoping he does come back to the NHL though in some way. I'm thinking a team maybe will go out for him. Like maybe it's a team that's like a little bit. I'm not sure honestly. Like I don't know if there's a place. I think if Laine had a cheaper contract, like if he was on like a $4 million, $5 million deal, I think there would be teams that would want to try for him, but he's on an $8 million contract. I know the cap is rising, but still, not going to be a people. Teams are not going to be too interested in him. I do have one more thing. The Washington Capitals bought cap friendly. Carter, what are your thoughts on this?
I
Shaking his
fucking
head.
hate the rich.
Whoa.
It's okay. Listen, I get it. It's smart. Okay, there's a lot of good tools on Cap Friendly. Every single person who watches hockey knows of Cap Friendly. Any single person that studies hockey knows Cap Friendly. Anybody who cares about hockey probably knows Cap Friendly. There's other alternatives to Cap Friendly. Guarantee as soon as Cap Friendly's bought, there's going to be a new free one that everybody's going to go to, and it's going to be just as good, if not better. But they're just, I'm just going to say it. It's bullshit. Like,
Unfortunate.
dude,
It's unfortunate.
it's so unfortunate. Like, oh, I have Cap Friendly in my favorites. I love going on there. I love Armchair GM. I love making potential trades. I love looking at what people post on there, potential trades. Like,
How stupid
it's
they are.
fun. It's a great hockey site, and we're losing it. I guarantee the people who own Cap Friendly wouldn't have done it had the offer not been massive. So I'm guaranteeing there's a ton of money involved to get it. So congratulations to the owners of Cap Friendly, and fuck Washington.
We may do a video soon. I'm just realizing this. We may do a segment soon where we look at cat friendly trades. We just
We,
scroll on cat friendly and look at them. There are some that are pretty horrendous though. So we're in for a treat. We'll bring on Jack too. And we'll just go and honor cat friendly one last time because that's been around as long as I've been watching hockey. And yeah, farewell, cat friendly. Anywho, not a whole lot of topics here today. We got one more thing. It's our 2017 redraft. We've been doing a lot of redrafts recently. So, regardless, we're going to get straight into that. Enjoy. So, today we are doing our 2017 NHL redraft. So, we did 2018 a couple of weeks ago. It's been a little bit since we recorded an episode. So, obviously, it's been a little bit of a time jump between those two. But regardless, we got the 2017 NHL redraft here today. With Carter as the first overall pick with the New Jersey Devils, they originally took Nico Hischier. We'll see if Carter goes in that direction, but probably not. Carter, who are you going with here with your first overall pick? Oh, he's grabbing something.
oh no, I just dropped my chapstick.
Okay.
I think this is the obvious consensus number one. I feel like I shouldn't even have to say his name, but I will. You're gonna take Nolan, no, Kale McCarr.
Nolan Patrick. Yeah, Kel McCarr has a Conn Smythe trophy under his name. I think one or two Norris trophies. He's been awesome for the Avalanche. As the years go on, he's really young as well, so he's going to get even more Norris trophies. He could probably win this year's, to be honest. But McCarr has looked good. I don't think that we're pissing anyone off with that first overall pick. With the second overall selection, knows when things get interesting. I'm going to take somebody from Vancouver who went fifth overall. I am taking Elias Pettersson, and no, I am not taking Nolan Patrick again. Don't remind me. I don't want to talk about that. It sucks too because I think Nolan Patrick had the potential to be such a good player, and then injuries just derailed him, and yeah, would have sucked. Would have been awesome though. The Flyers had Kel McCarr. Just saying, but what can you do?
Literally anyone after that.
Yeah, pretty much. Carter, with the third overall pick to the Dallas Stars, are you sticking with Miro or
I
are you
am
going in a different direction here?
I am sticking with Miro Heiskanen. I think he is one of the best defensive defensemen in this draft, and he's still has probably some of the best offensive upside.
I like that pick. I'm a fan of that pick. I think Heiskanen's a good direction to go there. There are some good players on the board, but I think I'm still going with Miro Heiskanen there at that third overall pick. Fourth overall to the Avalanche. Kel McCarr is obviously off the board, so I can't go with him. I think I'm gonna go with. Hmm. I think I'm gonna go with his teammate, Jason Robertson. So Robertson was taken 39th overall in this draft. I'm looking at my board here. He's played a season less than a lot of these guys. Like I look at Robert Thomas, who has almost 100 more games played than him, has one more point than Robertson overall. So Robertson, awesome player. I felt like he took a step back this year. I think he's kind of gone down to what we expect him to be. He didn't really carry the team this year like he did in previous seasons. So I think Robertson at fourth overall, though, is the right choice. Going back to Carter here at fifth overall, there's a lot of Dallas Stars in this draft.
There
Carter
are.
going in that direction again.
I am not going to go in that direction on this pick.
Yeah.
With this pick, I am going to take the original number one overall selection. I'm going to go Nico Hischier. I think that he's a great defensive, offensive forward. So he's looked good.
Is he a first overall pick? No. I think though that in a redraft, he's right to go fifth. He's a good two-way forward, valuable to the Devils roster. I think he's your captain as well. So I like the pick. I like the pick a lot. I think it's a good selection there at fifth overall. Back to sixth with me. There's a lot of good names on the board. Give me Nick Suzuki, though. Nick Suzuki was actually a former Golden Knight. They actually have 3 first-round picks in this redraft. So by the end of this, they can make out very well. But I'm going Suzuki at sixth. I think Suzuki has been a good offensively talented forward, and I think that it's taken him a little bit to get to that point, but I think you should go Suzuki at sixth overall. Seventh overall, Carter to the Rangers. I don't think you're taking Leah Anderson. I don't think you're going in that direction, but who are you thinking of here?
Well, with this pick, I am going to take Robert Thomas with this pick. I really like Robert Thomas. I've really enjoyed his game for a long time. He's been a great player for him, and yeah, he's a terrific player.
Yeah, Thomas.
Really key to St. Louis, I will say.
Yeah, solid young forward there for the Blues. It's kind of crazy that he was taken that low when you look at it now. So yeah, I think he's a great forward there for the Blues. I think he's right there at that seventh overall pick. Eighth overall is when I'm gonna go goalie. We're going to the goalies. Now, we're at that point in these redrafts. Like in 2020, not a lot of the goalies have developed. 2019, kind of the same thing. A few guys developed, but not really. 2018, we had a goalie in there. But I think 2017 is really when we're going to start seeing a lot of goalies go into these redrafts. And I'm starting it out with Jeremy Swayman. Swayman had a great year this year. I think he's going to get paid as the Bruins goalie. I think it's a great pick there at eighth overall. Imagine Buffalo with Swayman. Imagine that. So, got to get a lot of credit there, Jeremy Swayman. Ninth overall to the Red Wings. Carter, who are you thinking here with this ninth overall pick?
With this ninth overall pick, I was actually planning on going goalie as well. But you took the goalie that I didn't think you were gonna take. So I'm gonna take the goalie I thought you should have taken. My favorite goalie from this draft. Give me Jake Ottinger.
Yes, again, as we said, the Dallas Stars made out so well in this draft. They aced on like almost every single pick they had in the first and second round. They did very good for themselves in this draft. So I think Ottinger's a good pick. He's been a good goalie. The argument of Swayman and Ottinger is definitely a debate. You could argue that in the comment section below. But I think that depending on which way you want to go, it's not bad to go either way. So back to me at 10th overall. It's to the Florida Panthers. It was originally Owen Tippett. I'm looking at my board here. I think I'm gonna go. I'm not going Tippett, obviously. Think I'm gonna go Marty Natchez here with the 10th overall pick. I think Natchez has been good for Carolina. Has had some great seasons under them. I do want a little bit more from him though, but we'll obviously see there what does happen. But Natchez to the Florida Panthers. Hey, maybe that happens in real life. We'll see. Now back to Carter with the 11th overall pick, which was originally now a Winnipeg Jet. Gabriel Velarde, ironically.
Um, I have been looking at him, but I'm not gonna go with him. I am going to go with probably the guy who made the biggest jump in this draft. Give me Drake Batherson with this pick.
I like that pick. I think that Batherson's been awesome for Ottawa. He's been one of the big steals in this draft. Took him a little bit longer to get into the development page there, but definitely Batherson. I think's a solid pick there at 11th overall. I would definitely go with him there. And finally here or not finally at 12th overall. I don't know why I said finally at 12th overall. He dropped a little bit. And I will say this with Casey Middlestat, it's taken him a little bit to get to where he has been, but I'm going with Middlestat at that 12th overall pick. He hasn't been the guy that I expected him to be for the Buffalo Sabres. He's now on the Avalanche. But I never expected him to I expect him to be better than he was in Buffalo, but in those last two seasons and now with the Avalanche, I think Middlestat's really proven himself to be a good player. Just not at that eighth overall pick. I think there's other players I would take over Middlestat at this point. But yeah. And next up here at 13th overall to the Golden Knights, they took Nick Suzuki. Carter, who are you taking here? Let's see what the Knights can do. Let's see if they can pull out with a really good draft here.
With this pick, I am going to go with a guy who really never found a roster spot until the last 2 years. I'm going to take Gabriel Velarde with this pick. I think he really showed out this year in Winnipeg. I think we kind of saw what he could do. He was injured for most of the year. He only played 47 games, but still 22 tucks on the year. So he could be a close to 35, 40 goal scorer. So Gabe Velarde, I think, is going to be my pick there.
So Gabe Velarde's an interesting one because I think that Velarde took a little bit longer to get into the NHL. He doesn't have as much points as a lot of the other guys that were taken in this draft. But I think that Velarde at that 11th overall pick makes a lot of sense. And I like it a lot for the Vegas Golden Knights for sure. And I think Velarde has the chance in the future to be a solid player in the NHL. And he showed it in Winnipeg. So I'm proud. I like that pick. With my 14th overall selection here, my final pick going to the Lightning, I'm gonna go. Oh, sorry, I'm going with Owen Tippett. My computer started playing ads. I'm going with Owen Tippett from the Flyers. Tippett's had a couple of really good years in Philadelphia. I think he's only going to get better in that area. But I'm going with Tippett there at the 14th overall selection. And finally, with the 15th overall pick to Vegas, they got Nick Suzuki, who they originally had. They got Gabe Velarde. Carter, who are you taking with this 15th pick?
With this 15th pick, the last pick in this draft, they're going to end up going all forwards with this pick. And I guess surprisingly, all centers. But I am going to give them Josh Norris with this pick.
Wow. Norris recently has had some injured seasons. I will say that, but if they had that 1, 2, 3 down the middle of Suzuki, Velarde, and Norris, man, it's a damn good hockey. And they're already a pretty good hockey team. But damn, that I would say that's better than Cody Glass and Eric Brandstrom, who I think all three of the guys they took in this draft aren't even on the team anymore. So yeah, I think that's a good pick. But that is our 2017 redraft. We will be back next episode with our 2016 redraft. That is the Austin Matthews, I think Laine and Dubois redraft. So we'll see what happens there. But regardless, thank you all for watching this redraft, and thank you for watching episode number 58 of the NordCast. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below if you're on the YouTube end of things. If you are on the TikTok end of things, please do sure to or TikTok podcast. You can tell that I haven't done this in a while. Podcast end of things. Give us a good review. Tell your friends. If you want to follow the TikTok, follow at NordCast _. If you want to follow the Instagram at NordCast, plenty of content on both those platforms that we are going to increase more as next season goes on. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.